If you want to lead better lives, if you want to do better in the dasha periods, if you really want to get the best results in your life and avoid the challenging areas of your life, then it's very important to know which planets have better strengths, what are the weaknesses, and what dignities they have in your horoscope. Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series since a few months about how the new transits which are in place and also the transit of Rahu which is happening slowly, the pincer movement of Rahu that is happening, Rahu and Saturn moving towards each other. I have also made a video on that, and also I've also made the video on the dasha periods for people who are in different dashas. Today I want to give some more elaboration of how not only a dasha period but also a transit of yours could give you very good results, very challenging results because of the planetary strengths in your horoscope, and what may come by because of the strengths and weaknesses of the planets, because of their dignities, and what you should be doing to avoid them. Okay, for example, if your moon is bad, then you can either become a too emotional person, or sometimes you can become very cold to other people's emotions. You just can't look beyond yourself, especially if moon is in doshas. If, for example, your Venus is not in good dignity, then what may happen is either you get too intimate with people and you are getting into many relations, or it can keep you away from intimacy also. It may keep you away from enjoying intimacy also, of afraid to commit also. For example, if your Saturn is bad, then you may not have long-term stability in your career, or you may have challenges with the people who work below you or your colleagues. If your Sun is bad, then you will find that you may not notice it, but other people can notice the arrogance with which you behave, the haughtiness that you behave, the self-righteousness that you behave with, the moral high seat that you think you are seated on, and because of that arrogance, you spoil your relationships with your supervisors, with your managers, and also many times we don't realize it impacts our father, because Sun is the karak of the father. Same thing with Moon. Moon is the karak of the mother. If you are spoiling your Jupiter, you spoil your relationship with your husband, especially for women, and the children, because Jupiter is the karak of children. If you spoil your Mercury, then analytical decisions become too harsh, or you become too analytical, or you become childlike in your mind. You don't have the maturity to behave like an adult. You are behaving like a child. What does the child want? Child wants everything for themselves. Child doesn't want a toy, their favorite toy, to be given to anybody. So then the person begins to behave like a child, assuming they are acting like an adult. So let's jump in and see how each planet's strengths, their weaknesses, will have a lot of potential goodness for you also, but also a lot of potential challenges also for you, not only damaging for yourself but also your closest relations. So let's jump into each one of them one by one. Now, what is Sun in your horoscope? Sun is authority. Sun is your accountability. Sun is your leadership. Sun is also the ownership that you have, or you should be having, towards certain things, certain attributes, certain responsibilities that you have. But Sun is also your pride. Sun is also your self-respect or your ego. Sun is also related to the government. And Sun is also related to how much control or authority you want in your own life and over others. So what happens is that when Sun is good in your horoscope, Sun is strong in your horoscope, then you are a person who will take leadership, who will take accountability for your own actions. Otherwise, what happens? You will never take accountability for your own actions. Anytime anything goes wrong between you and somebody else, you'll always hold the other person accountable. I did this right, but you didn't do this right, so this went bad. Don't tell me. So every time you have a run-in with your managers regularly, and how do you know whether your Sun is good or not? If regularly at your work you have a problem with your managers, superiors, authority figures, and I said this earlier also, then your sun is spoiled, the sun is not good, sun is not placed well, sun is not in good dignity. You will have a challenge with sun, especially if sun, as it's some books say, sun goes into the 12th house to die. I mean, some of the shlokas say this, that sun goes into the 12th house to die. So if you have a damaged sun, then you will have this haughtiness, you will have this ego without even realizing it. And because of the poor dignity of the sun, you will also realize that you have a problem running with the managers, superiors, authority figures regularly without you even realizing. You think that my managers, I'm very unlucky with my managers, I'm very unlucky with my superiors or supervisors or authority figures or owners of the business. But why are you getting into those rundowns? You're carrying some bad karma. That is obvious because the sun is not placed in good dignity and you're acting with bad karma. These two things go hand in hand. One is what karma you're born with. The other is, are you also acting exactly according to your horoscope? You are living by default. You are the slave of what your horoscope is giving you, or the slave of your karma. And that's why it's very difficult, and it becomes very, very sometimes frustrating also for an astrologer. When the astrologer can see and tell you that this is what may come upon you, please don't act in this way. This could have far-reaching consequences in your life. People don't understand. I'll give you a simple example. I have this family who regularly consults me, and this lady came to me about challenges in her family. I mean, her brother and her sister-in-law's, the brother's wife. They were having some challenges, and they had a daughter who was studying abroad also. And I had told this lady who was consulting me that this brother and his wife, they are going through challenges not only because of your brother having some issues in his own horoscope, but also because of the dasha period of his spouse. I've also made a video on this. Long back I've made this video on how the spouse's dasha period could also be affecting you. These relations are very, very karmic relations. Brother, sister, children, parents, spouse or girlfriend, a long-term stability that you have. And after that, your bosses are also threaded to you in a karmic bond. Sometimes we don't realize, especially if you work with somebody for more than over a year, there is some karma related to the boss. So anyways, back to the story. So this lady came to me and she talked about her bhai and bhabi, her brother and his wife, and they were going through challenges. And I told her that you should ask your bhabi, your brother's wife, to keep more peace at home, because that is spoiling a lot of issues or challenges at home. And their daughter was going through a huge emotional turmoil. And I then told her, don't go and tell this to your bhabi, your brother's wife. But what's happening is that the child of that brother is going through trauma because your bhabi, your brother's wife, who's the mother of this child, she is going through a very tough period. Her Sadesati was on, peak period of Sadesati was on, and the Sadesati was going over the 5th house, the house of children. So I said, obviously this will happen. So many times our own dasha periods also affect others. If you have a bad sun, your father may go through bad health. Within a few months of you hitting sun dasha, look at how your father's health is, what's happening in your father's health in his business. You'll see clear telltale signs. If that is the case, then your sun is not well placed. Sun may be well placed for some other things. Maybe you get more name at your work, but you will still have a run-ins with your managers, superiors, and your father's health, your father's challenges will also increase. So if in a certain dasha like sun, if you're not taking responsibility, if you're not taking accountability, some relations connected to that planet will throw up here with sun. Your managers may also have a run-in or issues with you, problems with you, as well as your father's health may get affected. And if for some reason, whichever house sun is establishing a relationship with, either sun rules the 5th house, because sun rules the 5th house in the Kalpurush Kundli. So that's why even your children may go through challenges and issues. If you act out of haughtiness, if you act out of arrogance, if you act out of your own pride, self-respect, how can you tell this to me? How dare you tell this to me? I can tell anything to anyone, but you can't tell this to me. And you act out of pride, too much ego. rather than self-respect. So you need to be very, very careful in the Sun Dasha. If Sun is, for example, the fourth lord, then something may happen to your mom. If Sun is the third lord, then siblings may go through issues. Children may go through issues, because what happens? We think sibling has a problem, but siblings' biggest problem will be when the children have a problem. If the children are suffering, then the parents suffer the most. So you need to be careful. So if your Sun is not in good dignity, you will see all these issues regularly. Improve your Sun by being humble, by practicing humility, by going soft, by accepting your mistakes and acting out of what things you need to correct, rather than just by saying sorry to somebody who you have hurt is not enough. You need to correct it through your actions. Words don't mean anything. Now Venus, what is Venus? Venus is the Karaka of romance, good quality of life, how you talk, how nicely you talk, how you can be charming others, your intimacy, your relation with others. It's also the lord of the 7th house in the Kalpurush Kundi. So relations are also key for Venus, and also the second lord in the Kalpurush Kundi, which is your saving, your money, your earning, plus the good quality of life, plus how you are able to connect with the opposite gender, plus your performance in bed. All these things are related to Venus. So what happens? How do you know whether Venus is in good dignity or not? I'm not talking too much about placements. I've talked about placements, whether Venus is good or not, in many of my videos. Here I'm telling you the practical implications in your life, which you can see through how you're experiencing the planet. So Venus has a challenge in your horoscope, irrespective of whether it's an exaltation or it's a degradation. Even if it's a degradation, cancellation, your intimacy will be affected, which means either you will attract a lot of attention from many people, but they will all that attraction is for how you look. All that is attracted by how you look rather than who you are. So what happens? People think you are very good, and then they may propose to you, they may want to get close to you. But what happens? That is very superficial. The moment people get to know the real you, then there are not many good things in your personality, in your character, then the person will have fun with you. Even if they get married, they will leave you. Your relationships will not go well. One after the other, your relationships will suffer. However, if there is a karma related to Venus, you're supposed to live a domestic life. Venus is the Karaka of the 4th house. So if you are not in a domestic life, especially this is true for women, if your Jupiter is also not well placed, your karma is towards your husband, and you are not establishing a domestic house or life, and you're not in a conjugal relationship where you are more giving romantically also, you're giving to your partner, you're giving in intimacy also to your partner, trying to keep the partner also happy and keeping the domestic house intact and running, even sacrificing or even doing more for the house. Rather, I want to live alone, I don't want anybody, and this. If you're acting out of that arrogance, if you're acting out of the self-preservation, if you don't want to live the karma, then what happens? Venus will keep giving you money, but somewhere or the other, Venus will keep taking the money away from you. Second, things will be superficial. Superficially, you may live in a good house. Superficially, you may have a good car, you may have good money, but you will not be able to enjoy them deep down. You have a good house to live in, but you don't have anybody to share that house with you. What is the point of that life? You don't have somebody who comes to you, holds you, hugs you, says, I love you, I care for you, supports you. You don't have that. You don't have children living with you. You don't have any relation living with you. You're alone in that superficial flamboyance. And that superficial flamboyance, you look and say, aha, I have arrived. That is not what it is. It's a bad Venus if superficially you have things, material things, but deep down you don't have the love, the intimacy, the care. You don't have anybody to call your own. And you will many times see, if this Venus establishes its relationship in any way, either 5th house or 3rd house, even your 9th house, then those relations also get impacted. Venus establishes the relationship with, say for example, 9th house, your father's financial situation may get affected. Venus's financial situation, 7th and 9th house is father. So if Sun is also damaged, then so it's a no-brainer. Then father will not only face financial challenges, but father may also face challenges in his own intimacy, his own character, and father may also develop challenges in his sexual or reproductive organs. Many people who have a very badly afflicted 9th house and Sun, And if for some reason, if you also can see the connection in the father's horoscope, if their horoscope is even a little down or they're going through a bad transit or dasha, they may get some bad diseases. One person I remember, tough challenges in his horoscope. His father developed prostate cancer during his father was going through his Saraswati, and this person's dasha was one of the 9th and very damaged Venus and very damaged Sun also. So Venus, if you have a bad Venus, I'm not saying you have spoiled it, but with your karma, you're born with a bad Venus. What do? You will have to go through the grind. So how do you improve your Venus? First of all, establish the domestic home. Have somebody in your life. Be more giving. Be more respectable to the opposite gender. And be more soft. Talk nicely. Don't take offense if somebody tells something to you. Be very careful of how arrogant and scatting you're coming. You get lost as you wish. You do what you want. Laughing at people, mocking at people, sneering at people. You're spoiling your Venus completely. Don't do that. And food. Be more selective of the food. Eat more simple food. Don't go for flamboyance, and share your resources with others. If you don't share your resources with others, you will find the resources also go out of your hand. Now, if your Mercury is not strong or not well placed or in not dignity, what will happen? Your decision making, how you take decisions in your life, how you take analytical decisions connected to property, how you take decisions connected to your career changes, how you take decisions at your job, especially if your job requires you to be more analytical. Your job also requires you to take more practical decisions. Your job requires you to do more incisive study, see reports, generate reports. Either you're a doctor or you're an IT scientist or you're an engineer, you're a mathematician, you're a teacher, all these things, or you're a trader, you're a businessman. Mercury becomes very important. But if your Mercury is not good, then what happens? You have this childlike tendency in your life. For example, I know of somebody who has an afflicted Mercury. The person is doing some analytical work, but the person likes all these childlike TikTok videos. The person will share childlike things on Instagram, all like funny things, family doing something funny childlike things, something which children will enjoy. So if you enjoy those kind of funny things, funny jokes, which are more children-like, or children should enjoy that more, or children usually enjoy that more, then you have a challenge. Second, if most of your analytical, practical decisions that you have taken have gone wrong, you have, for example, I'll tell you how Mercury acts. You are in a good place. You have a good domestic life. Somebody comes and instigates you. Mercury is also childlike enthusiasm. So you are in a good domestic life, somebody is attracted to you and somebody comes and says, I like you, I admire you. What do you do? In the childlike enthusiasm, what children do? They like a bigger toy, they like a bigger, nice, more colorful thing. They'll drop the small toy, they'll run towards the bigger toy. So you see, oh, my husband is not so good looking. Oh, my husband is not doing so very well. Oh, this person is more flamboyant. Oh, this person is more richer. Oh, this person has a more status in life. Oh, this person is much better to do, well to do. And this person is coming and showing interest. You drop your family, you drop your children, you drop your husband, you run behind that person. Completely bad, completely affected Mercury, because practically you didn't see how this could affect you in your life. Your decisions in your life are also just like that, because you have a bad Mercury. Your analytical decisions are wrong, your business kind of decisions go wrong, who you lend money to, who you borrow money from to is also goes wrong. Most of your, and you act out of childish tendency. One person I knew, they just went to Europe alone to have a holiday and took a car and they were driving aimlessly, just going anywhere, just wanting to know how things are and how, various things. Took a car and was driving around Europe alone without anybody and didn't know where to go, where not. Just driving into the wilderness without any clue. That badly afflicted Mercury, and if you take regularly decisions like that, be very careful if you have afflicted Mercury, because your analytical decision, you assume that they are right, but they go wrong, and they can be more telling on the family members also. For example, your reputation may go down if your Mercury is bad, and Mercury establishes in some way connection to the Lagna, or establishes in some way relation to the 10th house, which is also a dignity standing in society. You will take bad decisions. You will assume you're taking right decision and you will be at the receiving end of the karma. So you should be depending on more wise counsel. Somebody who's a wiser person who helps you regularly, and go as a sounding board to that person again and again. Have one person, wise person. Don't leave their hands. Sometimes the wise person can be father, but it's also important to stay closer to the wise person, not by picking up the phone and calling somebody who is in some other country. Physically, you should be able to meet with the person, sit with the person next to you. You should be in the vicinity of that wise person who you consider to be a mentor. You should go and visit them. That's why people go and join some ashramas and all that. But you are in the physical vicinity. But how much time do you get with your guru? Here you need more face time. You need to have more personal time. You are able to pick up the phone and talk to the person, or the person is related to you. Can be a husband, can be your uncle, can be father, can be a boss who you have a lot of respect to. So if your Mercury is afflicted, you may go through these challenges. Better improve your Mercury before you take more poor decision for all your analytical decisions. Right, moon is afflicted in your horoscope. Emotionally, either you will be too emotional or you will be too cold. You are not able to see how others get affected. The sensitivity is not there. The sensitivity is all lost. Moon afflicted, your relationship with mother is not so good. So the moment you have not so good relations with mother, take it for granted. Moon has a challenge in your horoscope, and even if whatever the fourth lord in your horoscope also is afflicted, you have a very, very strong karma to the fourth lord in your horoscope. Whichever is the fourth lord, if that fourth lord is also afflicted, whatever the fourth lord is the karaka of, if the fourth lord is the karaka of, for example, fourth lord is sun, then relationship with mother will be affected, and relationship with father may also be affected. The sun is the fourth lord, and if it's an affliction. So if moon is not doing well in your horoscope, this is the simple test you can say. You have challenges with your relation with your mother, moon is afflicted. Moon is in a dosha, and you can also see challenges with your mother clearly. It's a clear-cut test for you. Then emotionally you are very cold. Many times you will get this from people who will say you emotionally you only look at yourself. You're too cold to other people's emotion. You are not able to see what you make other people go through emotionally, how you're draining. And if somebody does something to you, you always play this victim. I'm the victim. People do this to me. I'm so good to people. I did this for this. I did this person. I did this. But how you have emotionally damaged that person, you are not able to see. And many times you try to compensate with kind, with money, with resources, with attention, only time being on the surface. But deep down, emotional connection with people, you will not be able to find. People will not find that emotional connection with you. If your moon is bad, you will find that there are very few people who are very emotionally connected to you at an emotional level. If you go through sadness, they also are sad. They care for you. They support you. Very, very few people. And if your moon is bad, what will happen? You will attract such people and you will shun those people. You will turn those people away with your own arrogance, with your old coldness, because you are not able to see their sensitivities. You are not able to see their emotions. You are acting out of self-preservation, self-security, my own mental peace. I don't care a damn whether how other person is going through, what their peace is, what their sensitivities are, what their emotional challenges are. I don't care. I care about my own peace. I care about my own emotional security. I want to be good. That's where you're damaging the moon further, alienating people who are well-wishers, who love and care for you. So if your moon is afflicted, you will push away those people who are emotionally wanting to be close to you, who care about you, who support you. And what will happen? Superficially, you will have relations. Superficially, you will have sisters, but who don't care for you. They will talk to you nicely. They will ask you, but they are only concerned about their life. They keep coming to you for help and support. But with their own challenges, own issues, they will attack very superficially. You will stay very far away from your mother. You will stay far away from your motherland. You will stay far away from any person who's emotionally wanting to support you. If you feel close to your father, you may talk to your father every now and then on the phone, but physically you will be very far away from your father. And anybody at an emotional level, if you have a child, at an emotional level, of course you love your children, but physical distance will be created, and very soon the child with himself or herself create that distance from you because your moon is afflicted and you're not able to see. And whichever is the moon the karak of, what is moon the karak of? Assets. So superficially assets may come to you. You may have a beautiful house, you may have a beautiful car, you may also look good, but there is no use of that. Your good looks, you are not able to enjoy a good relationship, a stable relationship, long-term relationship. You have a house, you're not able to share the good house with anybody. You have a car, you may have 2, 3, 4 cars, but you have nobody of your own to share those resources with. What is the point of those assets, which are superficial, which even you may not enjoy? You may think that I'm not a material person. So deep down, you're not enjoying those resources. You have those resources. Moon is afflicted. How do you improve your mood? First of all, open up to other people's emotions. When people are talking to you and saying, you made me feel bad, feel the emotion and try to correct as other person wants to be corrected, not as you. What we have a tendency, oh, I hurt you, okay, take some money, okay, take this. And we think that is enough. And you are in fact alienating them further. Where you're talking about money, somebody has emotions for you, somebody wants to be connected to you, somebody cares for you, but what are you saying? Oh, you did this for me? Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, I didn't realize. You take some money, take resources, and while the person is talking about emotionally, you have put the person down. You are pushing the person further away. Now, what are you doing? With every relationship, you're spoiling your karma. With every planet, you're spoiling your karma, and you're accumulating bad karma again and again, over and over again. Completely bad moon. And moon is the biggest karaka of your moksha, the 4th house, the pillar. Moon is also a luminary. Moon is also the mother. In Muslims, in Islam, we say the heaven is under the feet of the mother. God has exalted the mother so much. So you'll have to make up with your mother emotions. You have to be whoever who care about you, love and care for you. You have to be somebody who serves those people. Get close to them. Say sorry to them. And try and manage your emotions. Don't be cold. Don't be always be self-preservation. Take some risks, even at the cost of your own mental peace, for those people who love and care for you, who want to do more for you. Establish the domestic home. Preserve the domestic home. Keep peace at the domestic home. Even when you have to sacrifice maybe a bit and be with somebody who loves and cares for you on a day-to-day basis. The person should be living in your own house. However big a house, you should, it doesn't matter. So establish the domestic house. Moon is the karak of the 4th house. Establish good relations with mother and be more sensitive to people rather than be too cold and haughty in your own emotions. Now, if Mars is not good with in your horoscope, it may seem to be good, even be exalted, but it may not be in good dignity. So what is the test? Don't look at the placements. Placements say only so much. How is the planet acting in your horoscope? What is it doing? For example, you get too angry too quickly. Mars is afflicted because Mars gives you the strength to fight. Mars doesn't make you fight actually. Mars is the general. General doesn't fight. What does the general do? General motivates people to fight for them, to fight for the king. Very rarely will the general enter the battlefield with his own sword. He will be standing behind and he will be marshalling his troops. You go there, you attack. And the anger and the killer instinct is used strategically. Not I got angry and I'm doing, you do this, This is not a good Mars. That is a bad Mars. I have the strength. I fight with people. No, you have a bad Mars. If you immediately get angry, if you immediately get upset, you are too arrogant. That anger, somebody said something to you, it immediately comes to your head. One is you have a poor sun, so you feel somebody is insulting, you feel too much about it, the pride gets affected. But you're also acting out of that anger, you're taking a decision to move away from people, to throw people out, to feel that anger in you, to become too upset. How dare this person said? You have a bad Mars. And if you have a regular challenges with key relationships connected to whichever house Mars rules, you will also find that there are challenges there. And whichever planet is placed in any sign ruled by Mars, you will also find you have a challenge there. For example, if Mercury is placed in a sign related to Mars, you will find you have a challenge with children. You will get angry with children every now and then. Jupiter is placed in a sign ruled by Mars, either in Scorpio, that is very damaging, or in Aries, you will find that you will have challenges with the opposite gender, especially for women. This is more true. For men, you have challenges with your superiors. So Mars is bad. You will get angry very, very soon. You will get upset very, very soon. You will take offense, personal offense. Anybody says something to you very, very soon. Secondly, what Mars will do for you is you will find that when you connect yourself with your siblings may have much more money in real estate than you. You may have one house maybe which is a good house, but your siblings will enjoy better assets money wise than you, which means you have a bad Mars. So money wise, if they are building big assets, they're making buildings, they have more property, you don't have much on hand in your control. Not something that you may gain through inheritance. That will come when it will come. In your hands, in your control, you don't have much. And if you have a bad Mars, estate wise, real estate wise also, you don't get much from your own family. You're expecting inheritance to come to you. That inheritance doesn't come to you to that extent. You're not able to control. And even if that comes, you're not able to do much with it. In your life, you're not able to do much. You're not able to use it for good thing. You like to keep it and say, see, I got this, I got this. So if your Mars is bad, your relations get affected, your emotional quotient gets affected, you have a rundown regularly with people, you act out of haughtiness. So in Mars, simple thing is to be cool, to meditate, and to practice self-control when you're too angry, to be more humble when you're more angry. Also, see what the key relations are. The closest relations, especially with children. Mars is the karaka of son, not daughter, son in your horoscope. And Mars is also the karaka of your attraction to your husband. For women, for men, the attraction is to fight, for struggles, for challenges, focus. So your focus will also not remain on key relations. You'll be all about yourself. So if Mars is afflicted, these things you will have to do. Control your challenges, control your emotions, don't act out of haughtiness, don't act out of too much self-pride, be more soft, choose your battles and choose with whom you're battling. Some of the key relations, some people who care, love for you and protect you and support you, don't fight with them. Keep them close to you. You will shun them away. If your Mars is bad, you will shun. You lose good people. Those people who are your best well-wishers, who are your closest friends, who support and care you, you will lose them. You will see when Mars is afflicted. When Jupiter is afflicted in your horoscope, this is a big thing for women. You will not be able to keep one stable relationship for a long period. Even that relationship will be too superior if it and superficial. Even if you have a long-term stable relation for 10, 15, 20 years also with your husband, it will be too superficial. The love, the affection, the care that you should feel from the opposite side is not coming. And what will happen? With someone who you are not getting that love and care and affection, you move towards them. But from where you will get, you shun them, you put them away. And you will have regularly challenges with the opposite gender. You will have regular challenges with relations with them. And you will find that you cannot establish your domestic house or domestic family easily. And you will not be able to live in a sustained domestic environment for a long period of time. Bad Jupiter will force you to live alone or have challenges with your superiors, with your managers, especially for men, this is more true. For women, your biggest challenges, your biggest issues will be with the opposite gender, will be the man with whom you're either married to or you are wanting to get married to. You will attract the wrong people, you attract bad energies or people who want to fleece you, want to misuse you, and you will push those people away who want to be close to you but who really care for you. You will spoil that. Many times I've seen with women, when I've seen that they have a bad karmic debt towards husband, so many people have told them, establish your domestic house, serve the husband, marry somebody who's more mature, marry somebody who's more wise, keep the relationship, don't act out of haughtiness. I've seen women, they're trying to get into a relationship with somebody and everything is good. Small thing goes wrong. Oh, no, I don't want to get into a relationship. No, I don't want to be with this person. This person is bad. This person insulted me. Small things. That person may have been nice to you for years. On one small occasion, person says something. No, this person is... We spoil it completely. Completely act out of arrogance. They act out of bad karma, negative karma. And negative karma will get the better of you. You will have to fight the negative karma to keep your domestic house. You'll have to act out of wisdom. And you will have to have, if you're a woman, if you're a bad Jupiter, have somebody in your life who is a wise person and go to the person for counseling and listen to the person, especially if the person makes sense. If you're not too sure whether your husband is giving you wise counsel, also get it validated by somebody outside who you feel is also a wise person. But the husband becomes the critical key relationship and also one of the Avenues of vehicles of moksha, especially for women. This is set to, in Islam, that's clearly there. That if husband is not happy with his wife, it's very difficult for wife to enter Jannah. Please, women, don't feel bad about it. This is what our shlokas say. This is how the zodiac is. So don't, kill me for this. So Jupiter is the ruler and the karak of the 12th house. 12th house is the strongest house on moksha. Please understand this. Have good relations with your man. Establish the grace ashrama. Be more giving. Serve the man. You will find that this life will also be better. Even if there are small challenges here and there, take it in your stride. Be positive, and your moksha will also be better. Your hereafter will also be better. Keep the peace and tranquility. Keep your Jupiter good. Now, if you have a challenging Saturn, whichever dignity Saturn may be, wherever it is placed, even if it's in exaltation, but it is giving you challenging results, then Saturn is not in good dignity. Saturn is not in good strength in your horoscope at all. So what is important about Saturn? One thing about Saturn is you are not able to keep any job for more than 2 to 3 years. You keep changing jobs. You work in something for 2-3 years, then you join another for 2-3 years. The stability is just not there. Second thing Saturn does is Saturn may give you good. Those people who work below you, they will be very good. They will listen to you. They will respect you, but they may also fear you. They will not really feel for you. They may act out of fear for you or a lot of respect for you, rather than also feeling good about you and feeling happy about you. When they see you, they get a smile on their face. If it's superficial smile, if your Saturn is bad, because then they are talking behind your back. This person is so arrogant. The boss is so arrogant. This person does this to me and all. So those people who are serving you, they will always be superficial in how they act with you. They will act out of fear rather than act out of wanting to do something, wanting to rush. I have had challenges in my corporate life also, especially when I was working with IBM. I had 1 or 2 people who had challenges with, but regularly most of the people were very happy. I would send out a mail and 10 people would come and say, I want to do this, I want to do this for you. If I invited somebody, if I just said, who wants to go for a drive and all, everybody would want to jump in and they would be chirpy, they would be happy. But there were 1 or 2 people who I had regular challenges with. And I tried to see, at work I would not bring about astrology, but very casually I'll ask them. And then I see they had a challenge with their Saturn in the horoscope as well as their Sun, because of which they could not keep good relationship with me. The other thing is, if Saturn is afflicted, you cannot be a good follower. What is Saturn? Saturn is the follower. Sun is the leader. So if your bosses don't think that you're a good team member, you're not a good subordinate, the bosses they may respect you, they may even fear you. So if your bosses are fearing you more rather than liking you, then there is a problem with your Saturn, because you are not coming across a good follower where the bosses like you, bosses want to be flexible for you, bosses push your case, bosses are giving you increments, bosses are promoting you. You don't have that. Then Saturn is surely having a problem, especially stability is not in your career. You have a challenge with bosses, especially they don't like you, and your subordinates are acting out of fear. Other thing about Saturn will be, if Saturn is in any dosha, wherever it's connected, the relationship that it is establishing with whoever it is. Saturn is the ruler of the 9th house. Relationship with your father will not be good. Your relationship with your teachers will not be good. Saturn is in a dosha with moon. Your relationship with mother will not be good. Saturn is establishing any relationship with the 5th house. Then your relation with your children may also run into challenges, especially if the relationship is not working out. Take it for granted that because of Saturn, you don't have great relations with your children. And if Saturn is establishing a dosha in any kind, and Saturn also rules your 5th house, then what will happen? The distance will be created from your children. Children will go away from you, and then the access to children will be very, very less. Now, many times what happens as astrologers, we say only so much to people. Many times we don't lay it on the table, because we know sometimes people are helpless to a certain extent, and sometimes people don't want to do. And if I say, oh, because of your horoscope, your child is suffering, do this, and if they're not able to do, and the child is continues to suffer, then they feel bad about themselves. I don't want people to feel bad. So sometimes we have to regulate ourselves how much information we are giving and how much we are not giving. For instance, I was just telling somebody, I think a month back, 15-20 days back that she should stay away from her siblings and siblings' children, because health of the children and the welfare of the siblings will also be affected because of how she is coming across in horoscope and in her own horoscope, the challenges that she has. So I'd ask her to stay away from, because especially if there is any connection with Rahu or Ketu or with Mars, with the third house, and if that planet is not a very well placed, then your relationship with the siblings will suffer, and the siblings' life will go through a lot of ups and downs, and the children's life will also be affected to an extent. Even their health, their well-being will also be affected. So you need to understand that if some planet like Saturn is not establishing a good relationship, goes into the third house, placed with the third lord, siblings' life will be affected big time because of your closeness to them and to their children also. Keep away from them. And how to improve your Saturn? Have a better subordinate mindset. If you are a wife, have a more subordinate role to your husband. Let the husband, or look at the husband as a leader. You can be somebody who guides. If you think your husband is not very capable, guide the person, talk nicely with the person, cajole the person, maybe push the person. Don't need for a day to emotionally get the person to your side rather than fight and nag the person to change. So bring those subtle changes in your demeanor, bring the subtle changes how you act with your subordinates, bring those changes to how you act with your superiors, and you will find Saturn turn better. Saturn start giving you better results. Saturn will give you more results. So friends, now that we have talked about how different planets in your horoscope, not by virtue of placements or whether they are in a good Raj Yoga or Dosha, but practically what results they are giving you, then you will know what their strengths are, what their dignities are, whether they are weak or not. And please keep that in mind. Also see which relation they're establishing or they're connecting with, because those relationships could also suffer. Sun bad, father's health may suffer, especially if you're in the Sun Dasha. Moon Dasha, your assets will suffer, superficial life, domestic life will not be there. Jupiter not well placed, relation with the opposite gender for women will suffer, for men the relation with superiors will suffer. So please look into how these planets are giving you results rather than just looking at your horoscope and going purely by that. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrology and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.